Hello, my friends. This is part 2 of this mini series on the contemplative prayer. And today I would like to go a little deeper. Where did we start last time? We talked about what the contemplative path is about, what this prayer is about, and we talked a little bit about how to do it. So today I want to go deeper into the, let's say, background of it all, and first of all tell you that this method of praying is a process which will unfold more and more into what you could call a contemplative lifestyle. What is this about? So first of all, it's of course of a commitment to this daily practice. Sitting twice a day in silence for 25 minutes each and really sticking to this practice every day. This is not so easy to do in the beginning because we think that we will lose so much time, but after quite a while, we will notice that we gain a lot of time because we are so much more focused, and there are other benefits. I will come to that later. This is the one thing. And the other thing is that if we stick to this path, it will begin to transform all of our lives. Because deep within us, let's say in the innermost chamber of our hearts, there will, let's say, wake up a calling to serve others. And this is not coming from our ego, like, what can I do to get something back, to get some, let's say, praise or recognition. No, it's coming from an unconditional place, and you are just led to serve others in a way and help them and be there for your family, for your fellow sisters and brothers, whatever it is. This is quite beautiful. The next point is that this prayer is not so much, let's say, a kind of technique to just concentrate. Of course, it needs our commitment to sit and focus on the Holy Word, but the main activity in this prayer is, as I said before, coming from the other side, from God's side. And it's not about us doing anything. We just consent to what God wants to show us here and now when we sit in this prayer, and we surrender to His will, so to speak. So it's also not about getting anywhere, because God is already everywhere, and we just allow ourselves to come into His presence. That's what it is. So if we sit in this prayer, if we focus first on our breath, then relax our body, and then focus on the Holy Word as long as it is needed, then what will happen? On the river of our consciousness, things will arise. This can be sounds from the outside, your neighbor, let's say, drilling a hole into his wall, or some traffic noise, which will, of course, disturb you. Or it can be tension in the body or pain in the body. And most of all, thoughts and emotions will come up. And we go deeper into those later. But of course, if you sit there and you want to focus on the Holy Word, but you have to think of the argument with your boss from last day all the time, this is not so easy to sit in this, let's say, situation. And for us, it's just about allowing everything to unfold and not judging it, not fighting against it, but just sit there on the river of our consciousness and notice what shows up and let it gently flow by on this river. That's what it's about. So coming to outer disturbances, you just allow it. You don't have to engage in the noise of the neighbor. You just allow it and focus again and again on the Holy Word. And your practice will be very useful even if there is a lot of noise around. But of course, this noise can trigger some anger within you, perhaps. So you think about how you should punish your neighbor or give him a good word or anything. That's another big boat on the river of consciousness. And then it's about us to just allow it. Don't jump onto this boat, don't analyze it, but just allow it and let it flow by gently. And for this, the Holy Word is quite a help, because we need, at least in the beginning, something to hold on to, like a handrail. And this word is like an arrow pointed into the right direction, which is wanting to come into the presence of the Lord. And that's why this word is so helpful in this prayer. So it's not about suppressing anything, but allowing everything to show up and slowly pass by. This can sometimes take quite a long time. So if you go deeper into the practice, there may be very old emotions coming up, and I will go into that too later. This can take a very long time to process, and maybe very old anger or sadness shows up again and again in your practice. And then it's still the same. We allow it, we embrace it, so to speak. We befriend it, because this prayer is a very loving practice. It's not fighting against yourself. So it's, in a way, really a way to give yourself over to God, who will assist you in this process and help you through all your experiences. It's not about us to manage to come into this innermost place of silence. We can just sit there and use the Holy Word as an arrow, as I said, and wait what comes up. But this door to this innermost place, we cannot open it. It will be opened for us from the other side in due timing. And so we can learn a lot of patience in this practice, among other things, so to speak. So let me just come to the end, because perhaps some of you have the question, what will change when I commit to such a practice and do it on a daily basis? So most probably you will not notice a lot of change while you sit in this silence, because it's just the practice, and sometimes it's easy. Sometimes you go very deep from the very first minute, and it's very peaceful. Sometimes it's just like sitting in a fire, especially when anger or sadness or grief comes up. And then 25 minutes can be very long, of course. But what you will notice when you stick to this practice for a longer time, you will notice changes on the outside of your life. You will notice more patience within yourself, a greater sensitivity to the spiritual world, finding God in daily life more often. And of course, you will also notice bodily changes, like your nervous system calming down, which leads to a greater awareness, a better sleep, a lower heart rate, less upheaval, and less inner turmoil, which are, of course, all beautiful results. But this is not what this prayer is about, of course. This is also happening when you just meditate. You will also have these results. What you definitely will learn is patience, because committing to such a path over many, many years takes really not only your time, but endurance, and this is not easy for us. Yeah, and so Thomas Keating, one of the most renowned teachers of contemplative prayer, centering prayer, he put it out like, in committing to this form of prayer, you become a servant of God, so to speak. And perhaps this is a good ending for today. I hope that this was helpful as a second step, and there are 8 more steps to come. If you like it, give me a thumbs up. If you want to get the other videos, perhaps subscribe to the channel. And yeah, I will be happy to see you again soon. Thank you so much, my friends.